Do we have to?
Yes. Yes, we have to. Come on. Come on. Let's get this fucking thing over with.
Well, I guess. So, apparently we're in a cathedral now. That's...
This sure is an environment design pasted lazily onto the end of another environment design with absolutely no regard as to how the two are connected. Was that what you were going for?
Something along those lines.
Where's the cavalry?
If they made it
You know,
this
that's a
far,
good question,
we'll
Vanille.
see
Where
soon
is
enough.
the cavalry? Oh.
Oh yeah, remember that? So yeah, it was brought up in the thread that the game never really makes much of a point of explaining what actually happened to these guys other than the obvious that they are now all Seath.
We're all Seath.
But that it was explained in some detail in the data log.
Also, what the hell is going on?
I'll tell you what's going on. There's another environment coming up, and they had to come up with some way of linking it to the one we were just in.
Which is to say, not linking it at all.
Pretty much. It's really quite astounding that they've managed to do that twice in the space of a minute and a half. But, yeah.
So yeah, this is Orphan's Cradle.
Is it?
Well, we're gonna see it in a second once... There it is.
It's something. I will give it that.
This is basically the end result. Just the logical endpoint of where the environment design has gone.
A lot of dreams
It's...
died to get
there's
us
a
here.
big cyber world, and there's
let it be
shapes
for
flying everywhere, and there's statues of the goddesses, and there's...
Just our future we're fighting for.
Look, it looks really cool.
Are you saying that you don't know what it is, but it sure is pretty?
It's actually not even that pretty, but yeah, that's kind of what we're getting at here.
It's not without its charms, I'll give it that.
Turn back. You have to make up for dragging Dodge and Sarah.
So yeah, there's a big group of sacrifices up there. You don't actually have to fight any of them.
Which is good, because fuck that shit.
Oh my god, there's a group of 3 and a group of 4. Both of them are the exact definition of not fun.
They are the opposite of good RPG enemy design.
Alright, so yeah, as far as I can tell, this is Eden.
Yeah, Eden is many things. I mean literally, Eden is many things. That's what Eden is.
Well, this is the fallacy Eden.
Well, yes. That was what I meant. Eden is also the name of the city, but we knew that too.
Eden gives us one last opportunity to turn back. These portals take us outside and back to Grand Pulse. If you choose not to take them, you have to work your way all the way to the final boss before you get another chance to turn back.
From Artandalis?
Well, I can understand them giving you a gateway back to Pulse, since, it's the side quest. But why would anyone bother going back outside to Eden?
If we're gonna run away,
I-
now's our chance.
I don't know, I guess maybe
Where we going?
if you're in the sort of shape that you can't handle, like, large groups of sacrifices or something? I don't know.
But then you wouldn't have been able to get this far in the first... I don't know.
So yeah, the one off to the left there we just saw, that goes back to Pulse, and this goes back outside. We are not going to be taking either of them.
Of course not. We would never do that. Never.
So, yeah. This is Orphan's Cradle. Whole bunch of, walking around.
It's literally a bunch of disconnected geometry. And I have absolutely no idea how I feel about the music.
The music is really... I don't want to say bad, but it's a lot like the actual design of the environment. It's just kind of a whole bunch of nonsense. It doesn't really work well, I don't think.
Yeah, there's kind of points where it almost seems like they're actually going for something. And then there's other points where it just does not seem like that.
So this is about the only guidance the game is going to give you. You have to continually work your way towards one of the 3 Eden statues, I guess?
Things.
But yeah, we have to do this basically we have to do this twice for each statue, so...
Yeah, they arranged a bunch of the shapes in a way, and then you have to walk across the top of the shapes. Down a more or less straight, but nevertheless extremely confusing path.
Alright, so our first new enemy is the Dagonite. And he's a lot like the Orbons, but he's a dick. He immediately casts Haste, Vigilance, and Veil, but that's really not important. We didn't get to see it, because I just murdered him. But what he'll do is that he will slide into you and knock your ass on the ground.
That's nice.
And when there are 4 of them, they will all slide around and knock your ass on the ground, constantly.
That's nice. So, like, you can do stuff against them, right?
Actually, this is probably it. I'm probably going to show it here, yeah. So yeah, this is what happens when you have multiple Dagonites in one fight.
And you don't start with a preemptive strike and immediately stagger them all. So, gonna actually get some attacks off? Well, that happened.
No, we're not.
Oh, they're just infinitely stalling you. Well, you're in pretty bad shape. I guess you better heal yourself.
Well, hang on, we have to do the dance first.
Oh. Shouldn't have spent so long dancing.
So yeah, that's why Dagonites are fucks.
Well, that seems like it's a complete and total dick move. I wonder if it was deliberate. You never really can be sure, can you? Now those guys, on the other hand...
Oh no, sacrifices were almost certainly deliberate. You do not accidentally give something death.
Yeah, it's pretty unambiguous. What's not really unambiguous, for once, is the giant honking hint thing telling you where to go. I mean, there are times in this place where it actively does not help. And that's before you start dealing with the thing that this game's map sometimes does. Where if you have to go up or down a level, it'll be guiding you to a transition point and also still pointing towards the objective. Which is... yeah. It's not a triumph of interface design.
There's a lot of... so many issues with how Final Fantasy XIII just works as a whole. They just all come to the head right here at the end of the game.
Which is appropriate, really. At least the geometry transitions are real sort of nifty. Like, this is the only place in the game, I think, where it actually has any kind of sense of an artist actually had fun coming up with all this shit and animating it all together and making it all fit. I mean, the stuff around the stuff that's flying past us is entirely arbitrary, but just the shapes taking themselves apart and coming back together again. It's nicely done. I don't entirely hate it.
Okay, so Velicycles.
And a sacrifice.
And a sacrifice, so we're going to focus on the sacrifice because that's...
Oh yeah, the Velicycle will fuck you up quite comprehensively, but the sacrifice can still instantly kill you, which does, kind of by definition, make them your priority. I'm sorry, what was that? I couldn't hear myself over the sound of everyone dying.
Well, at least that time it was only Hope dying, but yes. So yeah, that's what the Velicycles do. They'll charge up Plasma Cannon, and then they'll shit out 4,000 damage on you.
That's great. That's just really great.
So up that ramp will take us back to the main hub, but again, there's really no reason to go up there unless you decided that you can't handle this and you need to go grind some more, so...
It's almost like a fetch quest, except there isn't actually anything to fetch. We're just going to run around interacting with things until the arbitrary geometry arranges itself in a way that lets us walk to the end. Oh, and incidentally, if you think that us physically moving towards the end of the area means that we're actually moving towards the end of this sequence, then you are in for a surprise.
Yeah, this area doubles back on itself a lot. You really can't take any measure of where you physically are as being progress.
I'm not entirely sure why there are Sanctum guys in here.
I have absolutely no idea, but they're here! And they do all of the things that the Sanctum dudes in that armor typically do.
I mean, the cavalry, sure, they were being goaded into trying to destroy the place, but Bartanzalus wants them to do that. That's, his plan. So it makes sense that they'd be here, and that they'd be allowed to get in, but they'd still get fucked over anyway, because that's just the kind of villain that we're dealing with. This place seems like it should be off-limits to ordinary troops.
It seems like this place should be off-limits to everybody, considering how the hell we got here.
Well, yeah, it is basically a pocket dimension. Although, the all-powerful god does kind of want us here. So...
Well, right, he wants us here. How the fuck did the Sanctum guys get here?
Oh, yeah. Man, I don't know, it's not like this place makes any more narrative sense than it does geometric sense. What is the giant spinny thing at the two ends supposed to be, anyway? Is it even supposed to be anything?
I say you are asking the wrong person.
Who's the right person? Does anyone know?
I can only presume it's somebody at Square Enix. Fuck if I could tell you who, though.
It's like kind of part clockwork and part engine. But there's two of them at either end. And I'm not sure if they're making the shapes, or if they're just miscellaneous machinery that shapes happen to be flying between and into. Or why am I seriously trying to think through the design of arguably the least sensible environment in this game?
Okay, so every so often, once we finally catch up to one of the Eden statues, it will throw us into a mini-boss fight. And bearing in mind that we are talking mini-boss for the final dungeon of the game, there are quite a few of them that are frequently just as hard, if not outright harder, than actual bosses.
Yeah, they're complete assholes. They're Undying level asshole.
Well, actually, speaking of that, one of them actually is an Undying, but that'll be next video.
Well then.
But anyway, this first one we have coming up is probably the worst of the lot. But we'll see that as soon as I finish doing a couple last-minute Crystarium things.
Well, with that ringing endorsement, I'm looking forward to this. Also, yes, we did just arbitrarily teleport somewhere.
Okay. So this...
Hey!
Yeah. Remember these guys?
Remember these guys?
Yeah, well, these are... This is the Jabberwocky and the Bandersnatch.
Well then.
And they are motherfuckers. The Jabberwocky does a lot of physical damage,
I noticed.
and he has the extremely fun ability that he is completely unharmed by magic.
Oh, that's real fun.
Now, you can put debuffs on him. They won't do any damage, but you can do it. And you can use your Ravagers to hit them, and it will increase the chain gauge.
Well, it does all the staggering shit, just doesn't deal damage.
Which is a problem because we really only have Snow as a physical damage dealer.
Well, you have stuck poison on him.
And that helps.
Like, have we gone on a thing about how awesome poison is as a debuff in this game?
The Bandersnatch is also throwing healing at him.
Well then.
And I mean, you'd think this wouldn't be that difficult. He only has about 700,000 HP, but just this fight is a mess.
Like, is there some reason you wouldn't take out the healer first?
There is, and in fact, we'll see it as soon as we switch over to the next run.
Oh, really?
But yeah, like you can see, like, the only ability Hope has that can actually hurt the Jabberwocky, since it is immune to magic, is his super unique ability.
By which you mean holy, right?
Yes.
I mean, come on, let's call it what it is. It's fucking holy.
But yeah, that's the only thing Hope can do to actually hurt him outside of ineffectually tossing his boomerang. And note that if we do that, we're in aggression, which means Snow is not punching the Jabberwocky.
And why would Snow ever not be punching the Jabberwocky? I mean, seriously.
Alright, so the Bandersnatch goes in the opposite direction. He is immune to he is completely immune to physical attacks, and can only be harmed by magic.
And fortunately is susceptible to Imperil, I see.
Yes. So you can work with that. It's a little bit easier to do. But, as we'll see in a second here, the Jabberwocky can heal the Bandersnatch.
Oh cool, so they can both heal each other.
Except, the Bandersnatch can heal the Jabberwocky for, like, 10,000 HP at a time. The Jabberwocky can heal the Bandersnatch for about 60,000 HP at a time.
That's ludicrous.
So you more or less have to fight the Jabberwocky first.
Like... Yeah, that's just real, like... the numbers are too big in that equation. They make no sense. Why would you do that? Oh, well, is it at least a reasonably engaging fight? Like, is there actually any real sort of back and forth, or is it just that once you figure out you go for the large one first, it just happens?
There's a little bit. It's... The main thing with it is that you really want to get the Jabberwocky down in one stagger, is the main thing. And unfortunately, once you work out a good strategy to do that, then you more or less got it. But the tries leading up to that can be very frustrating.
Oh well. At least poison is helping.
Yeah, poison helps a lot in this fight.
Really, poison helps a lot in most fights. Are we gonna... Nah, we'll talk about it when we get there. I have an extremely short anecdote about using poison in a fight in this game that I'm sure I'll be happy to share when the time comes.
If it's the anecdote, if it's on the fight that I'm thinking of, it's probably something a lot of people have done. So
Yeah, it's still pretty cool though. So,
but yeah, this is really where you want it. You say once you get, it's real close, but at this point you say the Jabberwocky's gonna die.
yeah, he's still shuffling around a bit, but he's dead.
Yeah, once you get him down, the Bandersnatch goes down very quickly. Because she also has about a third of the health as well.
And is also presently not able to be healed for 60k HP at a goddamn time. Which helps.
But yeah, you say it's resistant to magic, but it's also vulnerable to both D-Shell and Imperil, so like you can tear it apart with magic.
I bet the resistance to magic comes off when you stagger it.
It might, I don't actually know.
Numbers are getting a hell of a lot bigger already, although the stagger gauge has gone up a lot, so maybe that's just generic number inflation. Yeah, looking at it, I think it's just more the horrific amounts of stagger than an actual loss of resistance. I'm sure someone on Game FAQs can tell us more about it.
Let's just not.
Oh, operative word could.
So there we go. That wasn't too bad. It's annoying until you figure out how you're supposed to work the fight, but after that, it's pretty doable.
And teleport out. Because there is literally no justification for this part of the environment. Now, where were we?
Don't think those fal'Cie want us getting through.
Well, that's a difficult question to answer, because I don't think we knew where we were to begin with.
Where's this end?
Good question.
If there is one, I can't see it.
I can't do this. All these Seath were people once. Like us.
But that's what Bartantalus is going
Of everything that's happening right now, Vanille, this is what you're worrying about.
Lose faith. And the second we give up, it's focus time.
Wait till we're broken and slip on the leash.
Yeah, well, when you think about it, having all this empathy, it puts us humans at a big disadvantage.
Maybe. But it's also what makes us dangerous.
Oh god, is this a power of love speech?
Fang? What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. Just that time's running short.
It's okay. My mind's made up this time. We'll just make Cocoon our home.
Yeah. I guess we will.
Did anyone actually say anything?